Thank you. Thank you very much, Umar. You're doing well, man. I mean, you sounds like a professional MC. Thank you for introducing me. I would also like to thank the president of MIEA, Ms. Chan Ai Leng. In fact, I know her father, Mr. Charlie Chan, during my days. Also like to thank and welcome the CEO of MIEA, Mr. Soma Sundaram, who's a close friend of mine. And also the organizing chairperson, Mr. David Tan, who's also a speaker today. I also like to thank all of you all for inviting me. I was wondering, why are you inviting me into this industry, to your talk? Because I know nothing about real estate business, other than owning a few properties. I don't know anything about real estate. But when I spoke to Soma and David, and I realized why they wanted me, because number one, they wanted you all to understand what the other industries are doing. Because you're so focused in your industry, sometimes it's like a tunnel vision. You only know what's happening in your industry and you're not sure what is happening on the other industry. So they wanted me to come and share a little bit about the financial services industry, mainly the insurance industry, or what is basically happening. So I think that's one of the reasons. And then, of course, the second reason is that over the last 2 years, unprecedented times, somehow or another, where the company that I work for as a chief distribution and marketing officer, I hold 2 roles there. We happen to register a double-digit growth when all the other companies, or all other companies in the industry, were actually having a negative growth. Some of them double negative, but we happen to have a positive and a double-digit growth. So maybe that's the other reason Soma and David wanted me to share, because the question is, what are we doing to get this double-digit growth? So guys and girls, hang on for the next 30 to 45 minutes. I'm not approaching the way Alex is approached. I wish I were to do something like Alex, no slide, just talk, but I've prepared some slides just to share with you guys my sharing to you, so that hopefully one idea that comes on will sparkle you, and you can get to be a better rent. And also while I was watching all these sessions going on, I also noticed that some of the sessions the speakers were talking, it's actually overlapping some of the messages that I have. So I guess you might be hearing the same message, but maybe in a different tone. Okay. So before I start, as what Umar said, today's the title was actually what he called Agent 2022, and I'm going to speak about the adaptability, because of time zone. That's the reason why I'm the last speaker, rather than I should have been the first speaker. With that, the topic, very interesting topic. Mind you, I didn't choose the topic. This topic was given to me, so I had to work around the topic. Be a chameleon in the changing real estate environment. So there are 2 things in this topic. Number 1, the reptile chameleon, and number 2, the changing real estate environment. Okay, so not in the industry. I had to read, I had to learn, I had to ask questions like what Alex mentioned. I had to go and look at some data, like what Joe To talked about, because I also want to see what is the trend that's happening in the real estate agency. So I found that, of course, like every industry, real estate environment is changing like every industry. So it's actually no difference in that sense, because all industries are basically changing, but maybe certain particular things that's happening into one particular industry. Okay, so the question now is, how do we then change? Because if you don't change, you will die, or what I call, you will be an extinct. So with this, I would like the organizers to play a short video just to talk to you about the extinction of dinosaur. Could you please play the video, please? Some of you might have seen this video, but it tells you a story.
okay? You need a minute? Cool. Okay. Listen up, people. I know a thing or two about extinction. And let me tell you, and you'd kind of think this would be obvious, going extinct is a bad thing. And driving yourselves extinct? In 70 million years, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. At least we had an asteroid. What's your excuse? You're headed for a climate disaster, and yet every year governments spend hundreds of billions of public funds on fossil fuel subsidies. Imagine if we had spent hundreds of billions per year subsidizing giant meteors. That's what you're doing right now. Think of all the other things you could do with that money. Around the world, people are living in poverty. Don't you think helping them would make more sense than, I don't know, paying for the demise of your entire species? Let me be real for a second. You've got a huge opportunity right now. As you rebuild your economies and bounce back from this pandemic, this is humanity's big chance. So here's my wild idea. Don't choose extinction. Save your species before it's too late. It's time for you humans to stop making excuses and start making changes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so as you see, the dinosaurs have become extinct. Can you move to my next slide, please? Next slide. Next slide. Yeah, so dinosaurs have become extinct, you know, and if you understand history, they were the most feared animal, the biggest animal or reptile, you know, and you know, everybody feared them. But because they did not, unable to change, they're unable to change. Of course, many stories reason why the dinosaurs disappeared or became extinct. But to me, one of the reasons is they wouldn't unable to adapt to change. And because they couldn't adapt to change, they just got wiped off, completely wiped. Today, you only hear about stories about people finding some dinosaur, what you call footprints in the cave or something like that, you know. So dinosaurs got extinct. And in the same manner, there were certain industries or certain companies also became extinct. Can you move to the next slide, please? Remember Kodak? I'm not sure how, if you are very young, maybe you do not know Kodak, but people like my age, we grew up with Kodak, we grew up with Fuji and things like that, you know. And there's this company called Kodak. But because they did not adapt to the changes that was taking place in the film industry, where people were going digital, they were still keeping their old way, thinking that this will work. But today, they are completely disappeared. The name Kodak, I don't think you even heard of Kodak anymore, you know. So this is an example of what happens that if you don't adapt, if you don't change to what's happening in the environment. Next slide, please. I'll give you another example, Nokia. I mean, I grew up, the first time the phone came out, the first phone that I had was Nokia, you know. And I'm sure all of you would have heard Nokia. But today, what's happened to Nokia? Nokia also disappeared, you know. And these are real things that's happening in front of you. You are seeing this happening, you know, where the Nokia has disappeared. It was the phone. Market share of Nokia at one time, maybe about 70, 80%. But today they have completely disappeared. Again, why did they disappear? Because they refused to adapt to the environment. What was happening in the mobile business? They didn't adapt, and competitors came in and took them away. People like Apple, people like Samsung. Of course, now a lot of Chinese brands are coming, you know, and this is what happened. And again, because they failed to adapt with the environment. Next slide, please. This is classic. This is really, really classic, okay? The music industry is there. But you see how the music industry adapted themselves to today. You know, they moved from records to cartridge to cassettes to Walkman to MP3, and today live streaming. Today we can listen to music anywhere just in our handphone. See how they have adapted, how the music industry adapted, and they changed with the environment. And today things are so it's easy for us to listen to music. In fact, if you have a handphone, you can even talk to the handphone and say, play Bob Marley music for me, and suddenly Bob Marley's songs will be coming out. Okay, so that's how easy they have made it to you for you to listen to music. Okay, so another example. Next. So this is going to be a big thing. Okay, the jobs will be disappearing. Some of you know certain jobs have already disappeared. Certain jobs are being replaced. You know, and because of robotic, where the robotic industry is picking up so fast, certain things that you and I are doing, we might be using a robot in the future, you know. And once we start using this robot, more jobs will disappear, okay? More jobs will disappear. And this is what is happening, you know. In the real world, this is happening, but sometimes we don't notice that much, but it's slowly taking place. Okay, so like I said, you want to stay around, you want to survive, and what Alex just mentioned happened to be in my slide too. The dinosaurs, the same period dinosaurs were there was another insect. Okay, next slide, please. Next. This was an insect. Alex mentioned that earlier. At the same period, when the dinosaurs were there was also crocodiles, there was also snakes, and there was this particular insect called cockroach. Same period, you know. But dinosaurs disappeared, but this small cockroach survived. It survived all these years, and until today it's still around. But I'm sure you do not want to be a cockroach, okay? If a cockroach are sort of a pest, and most people find it eerie when they see a cockroach, you know. But just to tell you that you can be small, not as big as the dinosaur, but even if you're small, if you know how to adapt, you can survive. Okay, so this, again, nature is giving you the answer, okay? That you can survive if you know what to do. Just like the cockroach. I don't know what the cockroach did, but they survived. Okay, so my subject today, like I say, next slide, please. It's about the adapter. Okay, it's not about the survivor, but about the adapter. And who's the adapter? We're talking about, the next slide, the topic of the subject. It's a chameleon. So what is that? What is a chameleon so different? I mean, I think Umar mentioned that earlier. And what Umar mentioned is what I'm mentioning. They can change with the environment. So if the environment is red in color, the chameleon can change its skin to be red. And if the environment is brown in color, the chameleon can change the color to be brown. That's an adapter. So that's the message for all of you today, is how do you adapt to the environment? The environment is changing. All of you know that, you know, like what earlier some of the speakers are mentioning, you know, if it was not of COVID, we all would be in a hall, in a convention hall, and, you know, we'll be seeing each other, and you can see the speakers live and all that. But today we don't do that because of the environment has changed. And today we are using different tools to communicate. But before I go into the chameleon per se and what is changing, let me just share a little bit about myself. I think that's one of the reasons why Mr. Soma invited me. Can we go to the next slide? So first of all, my name is Pak Jo. That's my Bollywood name, you know, so you guys can address me as Pak Jo. So I've worked in many countries, and I've been also a speaker, invited platform speaker in many countries. Okay, I've been in Indonesia. I worked in US for a while. I was in Cambodia. I was in Vietnam. And in 2018, just a few years ago, I came back to Malaysia, you know. Why I'm sharing this, and as a speaker, I've gone many places. I've been to India, Philippines, Singapore, Hong Kong, Thailand. You know, I've spoken in many platforms as a platform speaker. But why am I sharing this with you? The reason I'm sharing is personally, I know what adapting is all about, because moving into different countries, not as a tourist, but as a person working there, you know, I had to adapt to the culture, to the tradition, to the language, the way people behave, you know, the words they use, for you might be funny, for them might not be funny, you know. So these are the things that I've gone through on my personal life, working in different countries and learning how to adapt in that country so that I can be a person of value whatever I'm doing, you know. So this is important, just like what you guys are doing today. How do you then look into yourself and what you should be doing to adapt with the changing environment of the real estate industry? Next slide, please. And you know, I think all of you know that there's so many ways of working. We were working from the office, and then suddenly we are working from home. And today we are working from anywhere, okay? And that's what's happening to me today. I'm sitting right in front of you, all the way from UK. I'm now in Manchester. I've been here for 3 months. I've been working from Manchester for 3 months, running my organization. Remember, I told you I got 2 roles. I got distribution role, I got a marketing role, and I got about 60 over people who are reporting to me, you know, and I got about 3,000 over sales agents who I'm responsible for. But where am I? I'm sitting in Manchester for the last 3 months and operating my business from here. And guess what? The business is growing. The business is growing. As you know, most of you, just in every sales business, the last quarter of the year is a very important year because you're hitting targets, you're reaching to your goals, you're fighting for yourself to become $1 million, win some awards. So the last quarter of the year is extremely important. And running this whole show, the last quarter, I'm not in the country. I'm outside the country, and I'm running the business, and the growth is amazing. So this is another adaptability. But the adaptability I'm going through is not so easy as it looks, okay? Because the time zone is 8 hours. Time zone is 8 hours, meaning to say when I have a meeting in Malaysia at 9 o'clock, the time is 1 o'clock in UK. So meaning to say I have to get up around 12 o'clock, prepare myself at midnight, 12 o'clock, prepare myself for meeting at 1 o'clock. So again, this is another adaptability I'm talking about. I'm just sharing my personal opinion because these are things that will happen to you and you must learn how to adapt. You can't give excuses just like what the dinosaur says and become extinct. You need to find ways how to adapt so you add value and you become successful in what you do, okay? Next slide, please. So unprecedented time, like some of the speakers said, this unprecedented time, next slide, what has happened to all of us is COVID, okay? It has fast forward technology. That's what actually has done. You know, technology was coming along the way, moving it in space, but when COVID came in, it became Usain Bolt. They just ran. Technology's race ran so fast, and today everything that we are doing has some flavor of technology, you know. And you might be like Alice in Wonderland. What should I do? Should I go right? Should I go left? Should I go, stay still? Should I go backwards? You're in that situation. My saying to you is embrace technology. Just like some of the speakers have mentioned. I mean, the speakers have given some excellent ideas. You know, I should not be repeating it, but it's true. The truth of the matter today is you are immersed in technology. That's the truth of the matter. And everything and anything you do, you are immersed. As much as business is done on eyeball to eyeball, skin to skin, just like you do like business I was doing. But today, technology is slowly replacing some of the things that we are doing. So question is, how do you use technology and achieve more than what you are achieving today? But in the same manner, making sure that you're creating relationship. Okay, so you have companies like Shopee, you have Grab. Remember Grab? They bought over My Taxi. This guy Raymond, Tan Chong's grandson. He set up this company called Grab, My Taxi, then changed its name to Grab, and Grab got listed in the stock exchange in New York. And just a few days ago, Grab even bought Jaya Grocer. Okay, Jaya Grocer, as you know, started by the Teng family, TMC in Bangsa, and they bought overseas from a taxi business, so to speak, ride-hailing or share-hailing business. They have even now owning a supermarket. God only knows what business they're going to go in the future, And this is the changes that are happening right in front of your face, Today, like I said, we are all in Zoom. There are so many other platforms. In fact, yesterday I was even introduced to another platform similar like Zoom, which was even more sexier, So new things are also coming. But we seem to, because we have been doing Zoom, we just stay with Zoom, okay? But you look around, there are more than Zoom. There are more other sexier tools that you can actually utilize to give a better effect, And this is what's happening in the future. So my sharing with you, like I said, I don't know much about real estate, other than I know that real estate, maybe you have residential, maybe you have commercial, maybe you have what you call land, maybe these are the few areas of residential. I looking at the names, I guess most of you are either in the residential or commercial. I mean, of course, somebody was mentioning whether they want to get to the industrial real estate, So other than that, and also my daughter works for this company called a property management company called Guest Ready. This Guest Ready is similar to Airbnb, what they call a short-term lease or short-term rental company. So when I talk to her, so she also gives me a little information of what are the changes that's taking place in the real estate business. So what are the changes? Maybe I can just from my reading, I can share with you some of the changes. Number one is the tax, the regulators. The regulators, in terms of their regulation, this is going to be a major change. I mean, for example, tax. For example, how the regulators are going to assist first home buyers. Like I said, tax is going to be a major issue. So if they start playing with taxes, it will definitely affect the industry, the environment. Okay, and this is area of no control. We just have to work around it. Another change that's taking place, I just shared with you earlier, is a short-term lease. It's what we call digital natives. This is big in Europe today. Countries are giving visa for people to just come and stay in the country and just do business there. They call it digital native. Okay, Malaysia was one of the few countries that actually have Malaysia my second home. Where we had thousands and thousands of Malaysians coming up, and that sort of boosted the property market. People from Hong Kong can buy property anywhere in the world. They can come. They move over to Malaysia, buy a property, and stay and they retire. Malaysia my second home was an excellent thing that they did. But of course, as you see today, they seem to be changing the game plan. But what's going to come next? Trust me, is going to be digital natives. Where younger people from different part of the world is going to come to Malaysia and start working here. And who will benefit from this? The property agents, the real estate agents will profit, because people will start looking most probably to rent a place, to come and stay here, to come and work here. Similar like me. I came to stay here for 6 months. I look for a place to stay, a place to rent. I'm renting right in the heart of the city. And, so I stay 6 months, I look for a property agent, I call a couple of property agents and they found me this place, which is walking distance to the city. And I found it so similar like me, there'll be thousands and thousands of people coming to Malaysia, because Malaysia is a beautiful country. The weather is good. Here today, as you see, I'm all dressed up because it's very cold. It started snowing just a week ago, so we need to adapt to the weather. But in Malaysia, it's such a beautiful country. I'm very sure that if Malaysian government and the regulators start looking at digital natives, where people can come, younger people come, no need waiting for retirees to come, but younger people to come, the property market will definitely. So the question is, are you ready for what's going to happen in the future? Just because these are the environment that will be changing, you know. So the next slide, please. So engaging with the technology, I think all the speakers spoke about it, you know, and they made some fantastic ideas. I like what David Tan, our organizer, spoke about, how he actually interacts with videos, you know. And I think Soma also knows. I am also, I interact a lot with videos. In fact, I do videos nearly every other month. My videos are all mostly on festive occasion, you know. In fact, for this Christmas, I'm coming out with a new video, you know. So the technology should be helping you, you know, and what you can see in the technology today, if I can just give you a helicopter view, it's about the tools, it's about the apps, it's about social media. These are the three areas. Question now is, how do you adapt in all these three areas? You know, let's just talk about the tool first. You know, I think one of the speakers talked about how you should learn how to do video taking. You know, and that's part of the tool. You know, can you do a short movie of yourself? With an iPhone, it's possible today. A 10 minutes, 15 minutes video you can do with iPhone. And being in the property business, knowing how to do this is very important, because just like me, you know, when I came here, I didn't go and do any viewing. People just send me all the videos. I look at the video first. I look at what's the property that I want to take first, and then only I decide, okay, make an appointment to go and see this place. So I did all my choices based on the videos that I received, and usually the videos that are done very well is what makes me make the decision to go and look at the video. So you need to learn. You know, I mean, I learned. You know, I can be a father. You know, as my age, I'm even older than Alex. Okay, and if I at this age, just to share with you, I'm above 60 years old. Okay, I'm above 60 years old now, but I learned how to use video. I learned how to do these things because I know that technology is the one that's going to help me add more value to the things that I'm doing. Okay, so there are many tools. You know, I mean, like for example, you know, I'm sure many of you have iPhone, including me. I'm a iPhone geek. You know, everything that I have is iPhone. Okay, so iPhone can do so many things for you. The tool itself can do so many things for you. You know, with your super secretary called Siri, the Siri can actually do everything for you. I mean, you don't even have to set your alarm. You don't even have to go to the alarm app and set the alarm. You just tell Siri, set me a 6 o'clock morning alarm, and Siri does it for you. You know, so you must understand the tools and how the tools can assist you in running a business. Okay. Next is the apps. There are thousands and thousands of apps. You know, just like Google Map today, you'll never get lost. I come to the city, I don't know the city, I want to go to Chinatown, I just go to Google Map, and Google Map directed me to Chinatown. I don't even have to ask anyone. Those days, remember, we have to ask everybody for direction. Today, you don't even have. So there are thousands and thousands of apps. You have to take a look at these apps and how these apps can assist you in running your business. So this is something you need to find out and learn, because there's some fantastic apps can add value to your business, you know. And in the real estate business, just like the insurance business, there are many, many apps that can definitely assist you. But more importantly, how do you brand yourself in the social media? And that's what some of the speakers are saying. I think there's one speaker who talked about tech, and I didn't hear him speak, but I'm sure he talked to you about social media marketing. How actually you brand yourself? You know, this is another art. You know, this is an art. You know, I mean, you can't just put your photograph of where you went to the restaurant, where you eat, what the food. You know, these are things, mundane things that people do. But how do you, as a real estate negotiator, how do you want to be the first in the mind of your customer? The customer thinks of real estate, he thinks about you. It doesn't think about anybody else. And today, like what one of the speakers said, that there are more than 80% of the Malaysian population in the internet, you know, meaning to say more and more people actually, you can expose yourself, knowing these people, getting to know these people. Those days, we may be only expose ourselves in the environment that we are working, you know. Today, you can expose yourself around the world. People anywhere in the world, they can know you, you know, and all you're doing is sitting in the whole house and branding yourself. And I think some of the speakers touched on this matter. And the question is, what should you be doing?
From tonight until we see the end of time, I'll cross my heart and hope to die with. Always and forever, I'll be by your side. When days are dark and stars don't line with. Always and forever till the end of time.
Yeah. Can you guys see me, organizers? The electricity just went out in this area. So I'm now using my handphone to talk, okay? So where was I? I was talking to you about the tools, and I was talking to you about the apps, and I'm now talking to you about the social media, you know. So please, those of you who are unable or want to learn, go for some courses, you know. I mean, and like what some of the speakers have said, you know, these courses are even free. You know, you go to YouTube, you can learn whatever you want to learn. You even can learn how to do coding, you know. And this, you're right, adapt to the electricity cut. You know, suddenly electricity went off, and thank God I had my iPhone just by the side of me. Okay, so again, adaptability, how quick we can get back to the scene, you know. So technology plays such an important part in the way that you're going to improve yourself, and you got to embrace it. You got to hug technology just like you're hugging your wife or hugging your husband or hugging a tree. You got to hug them. You got to learn that so that you become relevant, and most importantly, you can adapt to the changing environment in the real estate agent. You know, next please. Next slide. Okay. So managing relationship via technology, you know, I'm old school. You know, I started my business selling insurance. You know, just like you guys selling real estate. You know, so I'm an old school guy. I'm a guy who felt that business can only be done if you see face to face, eyeball to eyeball, skin to skin. You know, that's how I believed business should be done. But today, as you can see, without me being present in Malaysia, I can still run a business because I've managed to engage, use technology, how to enhance my relationship. And I use many things to enhance my relationship with the people that I'm dealing with. I'm not dealing with 1, 2 people, I'm dealing with thousands of people. And dealing with thousands of people, you need to have different ways of engaging yourself. And what is helping me today? Technology is helping me today. You know, I mean, things like what we usually use, maybe from WhatsApp or TikTok or Insta. But that's how you build relationship. You got to know that in business, like what Alex just mentioned to you earlier, and some of the speakers mentioned to you earlier, you are not in the real estate business. You are in the people's business, and that's true. We are in the people's business. You know, the product is just by the by, but more importantly is how do you create relationship and how the customer keeps you on the top of the mind, and they want to keep on doing business with you, and they do a lot of referrals with you. And because of that, you need to build relationship via technology. So there are many ways you could do that. And I'm sure if you speak to your leaders or you speak to some of the technology guys, they will definitely be able to help you how you can build a relationship via technology. Just like what I just mentioned to you earlier, part of the way that I build relationship is making videos, making humorous videos. Maybe I will send Soma my Christmas video, which I just did. Maybe I'll send to Soma and Soma can send it to you. how my Christmas video is going to come. So that's how I build relationship, because when I send it to people, reach out to me and they say it's fantastic, and I build a perception in their mind that what type of guy Pak Joe is. He's very savvy. He knows what he's doing. And that perception is important. And that's a perception that you want to build with your customers, with your clients. So that perception that you know what you're doing, you're the best in the market, you can give the best advice, and you will do the best deal for them. So that's a perception you should give to your customer, and using technology will enhance this perception that you want to give. Next slide. So the future, what's going to happen in the future? I think one or two of the speakers also touched about it, but it is my favorite subject now. What is happening in the future? And I'm actually reading a lot about this kind of thing that's happening. And I thought maybe I will pick up one or two that can directly affect the real estate business, that can directly affect the real estate business. So I thought I'll just pick up two of the technology trends that's taking place. Now, if you don't know, there is this app called IKEA Place. Take a look at the app. Okay, it's already there. And IKEA Place is a augmented reality app, or what you call virtual reality. What they do is basically you can take this, download this IKEA Place. You can go to a home, say your empty home. You can go to empty home, download this, and you can even download a sofa, a furniture, whatever you want to download. How do you want to do your kitchen? IKEA has a kitchen. You can download it, go to that particular space, and it will give you how it's going to look like. In fact, you can even change the color of the sofa. So you want to have a red color sofa. You can see that. And it's giving you what I call augmented reality or virtual reality in a place where before you go in. And this some things that we didn't have it in those days, but today it is there, and it can definitely enhance you in the real estate business, because your customers might not know this. And when you can share with your customer, you just bought a house, let's take a look at what you should be doing now before you renovate, or after you renovate, you want to put your furniture and the fittings, what kind of furniture, what kind of fittings, what kind of space you need. Is that space accommodate the furniture? Boys and girls, today you can have that virtual reality in an app, and it's already there. And it's not something I'm talking about the future, it's going to come. It's already there. But the question is, how many of us actually know this exists? Okay, so take a look at it, and it can enhance your business, and it becomes a talking piece to your customer. If you go and talk to your customer about this kind of things, trust me, they will see that you have added value to what they are doing, and they might just come back to you and keep on communicating with you, because they know that you can add value to whatever they want. Okay, so this is augmented reality. We all have heard about AI, artificial intelligence. It's the word that for many years we've been listening to, and today the new word is augmented reality, and and more things in terms of augmented reality or virtual reality is taking place. The next future, which I think will be directly related to you, the next slide please, is I think that one of the speaker actually mentioned. Next slide please. I think one speaker mentioned this earlier. It's called metaverse. I'm sure younger people like you, I'm sure you know about it. But this is becoming my favorite subject matter now. Ever since Facebook changed their name to Meta, META, and today Facebook, the main company is called Meta. The verticals are Facebook, all the other verticals. WhatsApp is part of the vertical, but their name, they changed it to Meta. Why did Facebook change their name to Meta? This was something very intriguing. I wanted to find out why they did, and this is what I discovered. The reason they changed it, because they are moving to the next level, and they call it metaverse. One speaker actually mentioned that. But what is metaverse? Metaverse is an integration of reality and virtual. physical reality and virtual, they integrate it together. Meaning to say that if you go into metaverse and if you go to a park, you're sitting in your house, but actually you are sitting in a public park. You can see yourself sitting in a public park. And guess what? There are people in this public park sitting with you. And you are actually virtual, but you see yourself in a physical realm, a physical situation. And guess what? You are communicating with the people in the park. The people in the park are all in avatar. They will have an avatar for themselves, and you can actually start communicating with them. And we are having conversation, just like I'm having conversation, but this is even more than that. It is physical and reality, physical and virtual integration. And that's metaverse. Now, how is this going to help the real estate agency? You know, the real people in your business. This is going to be a tremendous benefit to all of you all. Because what you can do, knowing this technology in the future, is actually giving a real feeling of owners who want to buy a house, of people who want to rent a place. They can actually see everything themselves, even though they are virtual, but they can see themselves in that particular house. So you want to show this house in Montiara, you just get into this platform, hook on your customer, and your customer, voila, he's already in Montiara. And as he's walking, he's actually looking at all the property, go open the bathroom, toilet, kitchen. This becomes real, but he is not there, but he can see himself inside that particular apartment or particular bungalow or particular house, whatever he wants. So how does this going to help you? It's going to help you because you can give an experience to your customer. So with this experience to your customer, you can even convince your customer in much faster, because sometimes, I mean, I've never sold property, but I know to show customers many sites. Sometimes you have to park your car and then meet the customer, take him up to the floor, show him the property, and then the customer say, I'll think about it. You know, then another customer comes and your parking meter has expired, and then the police come and summon you. I mean, all this kind of headaches you have because you need to take your customer and view this place. But today you can get them to view while they are sitting at home and you are sitting at home. They take the place, and where you come in when you seal the deal. When you seal the deal, that's when maybe, you know, you might think the customer, even sealing a deal today, it's non-face-to-face. You can even seal a deal non-face-to-face, but maybe that's the right time actually you come and see the customer, you know. So metaverse is going to change the way the real estate environment is going to take place. Completely going to change, because every one of them will be engaging in this new technology called metaverse. You know, yesterday or day before yesterday, I saw a video where they even can transport a physical person into a platform. Like, for example, all of you are in a convention center. That's physical convention center. Let's say the 200 people of you here. I'm sitting in Manchester, but you can see me in the convention center as a physical body, just like Star Trek, you know, as a physical body. And I'm sitting and I'm looking into your eyes, and you are looking into my eyes. And you can see my expression, I can see your expression. And that's what's going to happen in the future. So knowing that this is what's going to happen in the future, I encourage you, the people who are watching today, the 100 or 200 of you watching today, please embrace yourself in technology. To go and check these things out, you know, what is going to happen, so that you are ready for it. It doesn't get you into a shock where suddenly, you know, like a cultural shock, and then you don't know what to do, or traditional shock, you don't know what to do. But at least if you know what is happening in the future, today you can take steps so that when it comes, or when it's about to come, you are ahead of the pack. You are the head of the pack, engaging yourself in this in this technology, so that you can add value to your customer, and more importantly, you can increase your bank balance. Okay, I mean, at the end of the day, all of us are here because we want to be more successful. We want to make more money. You know, all the things that the money can do. I'm sure all of you are similar. You know, and so all these things that you're going to do is actually going to help you directly make you more successful. Okay, so with this, boys and girls, I had to adapt from a laptop to the iPhone, and they gave me 45 minutes to talk. I think I've taken more than 45 minutes. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to share with you. On my last slide, this slide is a killer slide because let me tell you this. The other thing about a chameleon is, as far as they adapt to the environment, the other thing about the chameleon is they protect themselves from the enemies. That's why a chameleon actually does, okay? Because whoever wants to attack them, they cannot be seen. They cannot be seen because they've adapted to it. So that's what you should be doing. In the words of what my title is, in the words of chameleon, not only you have to adapt, but you have to ring fence and protect yourself so that nobody can shake you in what you're doing. Even anybody comes into your business, you are well protected, just like a chameleon, and you can fight the tigers and fight the crocodiles or whatsoever because you know how to ring fence yourself. Okay. With it, I would like to thank again the CEO of association, Mr. Somas Sundram, for inviting me, the organizing chairperson, Mr. David Tan, who was communicating with me to make sure that everything goes smooth. Thanks to you, David. I wish you all the best in your career. And also to the president of MIEA, Ms. Chan. You know, like I said, I know your dad, Charlie Chan, very well, and I've come to your house. Maybe that time you were a very young girl, you know, but I've been to your house once or twice, you know. So thank again for you all to invite me to share some things that I have done personally to improve my brand, and I have done for the company to get a double-digit growth, and we'll continue doing it. As you know, the virus will never end. You know, today they have a new virus, and it's affecting UK. You know, I don't know when I can even leave UK right now because UK badly affected by this virus. You know, but that's something we got to adapt, and that's something that we got to change, because if you don't change, you die. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year to every one of you. Cheers.